Why does every guy cheat on you? Trust me, I know. How come girls always call you their friend? I can tell you. We'll talk about your strengths and we'll talk about emotions. Secrets of Birthdays, now live for purchase. Check out yours at secretsofbirthdays.com. Hello and welcome to Soul Horoscopes Orbits Edition. My name is Christopher Rayman Witecki, and I consider myself your soul biographer, a person here to help you put together your karmic story through the orbits of what is above turns out to be what is below. And it's a pleasure to be back on the air. I have to say, one of the new little tricks of recording this same open for everybody is that I can tack on an open at the very end. My goddess, did we have an intense weekend. A new moon in Aquarius rattled me, put me behind in my schedule, so my apologies for showing up what I consider late with the horoscopes. I want to be on the air, but I didn't feel too bad. It knocked out the Pope as well. You know, when Neptune's in Pisces, folks, is when the Pope resigns. When the rats start leaving the ship, it's not always because the ship is sinking. Sometimes I think it's because light is brightening up, and we're seeing some effects of that, including even a personal killer or cop killer in California. A lot of crazy stuff going on. This is Neptune in Pisces. We're going to talk about that in your horoscope. I call it the party in Pisces. But even though we were distracted in Pisces, the sun is really the focus in Aquarius. We're working on how we position ourselves. We'll be going deep into that as well. Plus there are some squares, and I've got some new technology to kind of show you along the way. So let's take the Ascension elevator up to 33,000 feet and get on our journey.
Afternoon, folks. This is your captain speaking. While riding the Ascension elevator, be sure to keep your hands and feet in at all times. The white zone is for immediate loading and unloading of emotional baggage. And as always, thank you for flying with Christopher Witecki.
Hello, my Aquarians and Aquarius Risings. This is your 7-day mood forecast, and I'm still evolving this whole thing to be a bit more accommodating and clear. Let's start with what's going on this week. We're in chapter 3 now of Sun in Aquarius. It's your birthday period. Last week we were working on the middle section, or the green chakra, action, strength, and effectiveness. Now we're moving up to your identity this week. We'll be committing to a new ego identity, one that you stand behind for the whole year. And identity comes down to when you will act or when you will not act on things. When you're a person of action, then we take you seriously. That's kind of what identity comes down to. But it's definitely been a bumpy ride this year, and it's going to be a little bumpy ahead. I have to say, we have some turbulence this week. On Sunday, I already covered this in the last horoscope, but it was Light Cast Day, and we wanted to surrender to emotions. And for you, that was your ego. Really trusting emotionally for your ego to express itself, and you might have had some breakdown there. On Monday, Mercury rules the day, and so there's breakthrough, perhaps understanding. The moon moves into Pisces, which shifts your lesson or your emotions to insecurities, perhaps, about self-esteem. On Tuesday, there's also insecurity about self-esteem, but Venus rules the day, restoring balance and order to your ego, and so you should feel pretty strong there. It's a cloudy day on Wednesday because you'll be lost in the intuition of Neptune, and Neptune is very strong right now. There are a lot of planets there. We're going to talk about that. The moon will cross into your house of thinking, and so emotions and mind games might trigger you, and you really want to listen to your intuition on that day. On Thursday, you decide who you are, and you decide where you're going to act and where you're going to point your ego this year. So I think Saturday will be, Saturn Day, which is Thursday this week, will be a powerful day, and the moon will be in Aries, but making your mind confident as well. On Friday, you are cloudy and really nesting and resting. What happens is the moon now moves into Taurus, and so emotions need to be self-nurtured for you. Mars rules the day on Friday, so you're going to need to take some action with your ego, but you're going to be a little tired, just so you know. It might be difficult for you. On Saturday, we're holding space and you're really nesting and resting. This might be a good day to kind of take off because basically you're just loving and trusting that everything will work out for yourself. And on Sunday, Chiron rules the day, restoring integrity, but there will be a test. At this point, your ego might get tested, emotions might get tested. If you have not emotionally nurtured yourself in this transit in the last 2 nests and resting days, you might be triggered. So there's a lot of chance of paranoia on Sunday. Let's take a closer look now to this new thing I have, which is kind of like Doppler radar, super cool, where I've animated the planets from printouts from astro.com. So I just want to be able to show you kind of how it works with actual planets. So these 2 green arrows are the trine between Saturn and Scorpio and all these planets in Pisces. This is you drawing new emotional boundaries about decision making and career choices, and those emotional boundaries play right into your self-esteem. These two red arrows are pointing out the squares going on between your self-esteem and your inner child wanting to have what it wants. So your inner child is afraid it won't get what it wants, or you're afraid you can't pay for it. You got to work through that fear this week and know that you will have both. Jupiter is going to go ahead. This is outlining how the moon is basically going to scrub against all the sensitive planets this week. And for you, this is scrubbing against, from the top, self-esteem. Then it goes right there. Then it goes to your mind games. Then you self-nurture here as it goes into Taurus. And then it goes to the house of inner child. Here it is closer. Each of the days I've laid out the steps. So step 8, I decide. Step 9, I act. Step 10, I manifest. And then we were tested in step 11. You can see here how the moon scrubs right over your mind games right there, scrubs over taking care of yourself, and then it's heading for Jupiter in that final test. And then finally, this square is a square between your inner faith, Pluto, and then Uranus, your mind. So you're constantly going back and forth between your inner faith and your mind, and you need to get them both on the same team. The square means that fears are being resolved out of these, and it is a tough square, certainly. And that's what this slide is. Let's take a look at some orbits in outer space. Okay, so now I want to look at this party going on in Pisces, which for Aquarius and Aquarius risings is happening actually in your house of self-esteem. It is happening with self-esteem. I'm going to come out of the picture here. Basically, we've got 5 states of awareness that are mixing together in Pisces. And so it's I sense, which is our psychic awareness. So psychic awareness for you is focused on smelling out where your values are. But you've got action energy there. That's Mars, I am. So your ego is invested in what this week? Self-esteem. Even though it's your birthday and you're developing ego, your ego is actually already ahead on self-esteem. The IB is Chiron, and that's where universe is having us heal. So you're healing self-esteem, and then your mind is on self-esteem, I think. And then I feel emotions scrub across this whole party during the week. So you can see we get really stirred with self-esteem. By the way, Mercury's going to retrograde back through here, and so we're going to rethink this all over again once the sun goes into Pisces later. Now, looking at the orbits that I think are important this week, I'm just looking at the Pisces section of space. So looking at Pisces, we have Neptune in step 2, which means when it comes to your intuition, just allow the feelings to come and be honest with yourself about the feelings you have. I have this feeling that I'm going to be valuable here. Okay, go with it. Just go with that feeling. Then with Chiron step 8, be very clear about what you want to heal on self-esteem. I want to get over my self-esteem of how I look. I want to get over my self-esteem problems of not being able to earn the money I deserve. So just be very clear, decisive about healing spirit until February 23rd. That's what Chiron teaches us. Then I ran 5 more orbits to look at them here. At the top we have Mars, and then Mercury, and then the Sun, and then the Moon. There's 4 orbits here, excuse me. And so this is our actions, our thoughts, what we love, and what we feel. So I think the important days here, Sunday is important, but it's past, so for time's sake, here on Tuesday. Now on Tuesday, at the bottom you can see Venus rules the day. And so we are restoring, giving, and receiving. This is on your ego level, but notice the little guy down there is a little paranoid. I think that's because you need to decide to take action about your self-esteem. You don't have to take the action on Tuesday, but you should decide to take action. And your mind there in the middle, Mercury, is at step 11. So you want to be, I love me, I love you. Put your mind in that state. I love me, I love you. I'm ready to decide to act. That is, I think, going to be what restores the balance for you feeling better. Whoops, I'm hopping over here. Then on, where are we at? On Thursday, there's a lot of activity that I think is important. Mars says, now you act. So on Thursday, go ahead and go for that raise. Go ahead and go for that self-esteem. Go ahead and go to the gym. Take action on Thursday. Saturn rules the day, so you're going to feel very decisive about what you are and what you aren't. But your mind, look at the mind is at step 13, which is just keep it at unlimited possibilities. So you've got to tame your mind on Thursday and tell your mind to just play along here. Then on Saturday, Mars is in step 11, so actions to love yourself first is what you take, and then love others if you have extra energy. And then on Sunday, this is the real test. So the mind says it's in step 17. So that is, I love myself, I trust, intuition, you give it up to God. So your mind needs to love and trust, basically. And in the test of faith, the moon is in Taurus, so you need to nurture your emotions. All right. Don't forget, Mars is still on step 11 on this day. So you're still loving actions that love yourself, actions that love others. So this is, to me, is how you get through the week. All righty. Oops, didn't mean to do that again. I'm learning my own stuff here, my fast keys. So, to wrap up, basically, I think for the Aquas and the Aqua Risings, keep in mind that you want to be very clear that Saturn trining down to that stuff in self-esteem. Part of the reason might be that you're not clear on your emotional boundaries in your career. You must be very clear on what you will and won't do in your career. And if you're not clear on that and taking care of yourself emotionally, that will erode self-esteem. So you have to be conscious of that. Also remember what I said about the fears, that your self-esteem is working out fears with your inner child. Your inner child wants to have what it wants. Your self-esteem is wondering, can we pay for it? Do we deserve it? You're going to get what your inner child wants. Jupiter's going direct anyways. This is really about you landing in good self-esteem that will allow your inner child to have what he or she wants. Okay? And then, of course, there is the square going on between inner faith and the mind. Get the mind on thoughts of inner faith, and inner faith comes basically down to your relationship to God, universe, and knowing that God, you never let you down before, so why would God, you do it now? All right, let's wrap up. This week, my gratitude goes to you, the viewer. I just want to say thank you for always reaching out, for always looking for me when I've been off the air, for continuing to give me great positive feedback and allowing me to grow and be honest on the air and not have to pretend to be somebody else. I'm very grateful to be in this service. And if you watch my horoscope, Taurus, you'll see that I'm finding my place in the world, and it's so nice to be received by you. So thank you. Much gratitude to you. This is co-creation in the making right here live. Don't forget, if you'd like to connect to me personally, I do go on the air live in a Google Hangout called A Guided Hangout on Mondays at 12 noon Pacific. So we put that post on my Facebook, in the mothership, everywhere. So come on down, you can watch, you can chat, and you can ask me questions personally. This is my way of getting, and I'd love to hear your feedback on the horoscopes and what you think so far. If you want to be watched over personally by me, I write text messages every day through the night, personally to my subscribers, and you can start it for 1 week for a penny. So come on down if you want at gatext.me and try the GA service with us. Thank you so much for logging in. I'll see you on Sunday if everything goes well, but if you look at the horoscope, it will. And until then, live, love, be